please rise and join us in the pledge of the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Present.
Trustee Carter.
Present.
Trustee Mariscal.
Present.
Trustee Cumming.
Present.
Trustee Reichert. Trustee Fuller.
Okay, thank you very much. The first order of business tonight is the approval of the Board of Trustees minutes for the September 15th, 2015 meeting. Are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes as given? Need a motion for approval?
I move that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Motion from Trustee Cumming.
Second.
Second from Trustee Mariscal. All those in favor of approving the Board of Trustees minutes for September 15th, 2015 as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. The board has approved the minutes as submitted for September 15th, 2015. Next order of business tonight is the approval of the executive session minutes for September 15th as well. Need a motion for approval, please.
So moved.
Have a motion from Trustee Cumming.
Second.
Second from Trustee Carter. All those in favor of approving the executive session minutes for September 15th, 2015, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. The board has approved the executive session minutes for September 15th. And our next order of new business tonight is the approval of the special meeting minutes for September 22nd, 2015. Are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes? Need a motion for approval, please.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion from Trustee Carter.
Second.
Second from Trustee Harn. All those in favor of approving the special meeting minutes for September 22nd, 2015 as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. The board has approved the special meeting minutes for September 22nd, 2015. Which brings us to correspondence from our village clerk, Shauna Musselman. Yeah, go ahead and announce it, please.
All right, I just have one item this evening, and it is that there will be a pork chop dinner at the VFW at 1505 East Lake Street on Saturday, October 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. A pork chop sandwich and chips will be $5, and a pork chop sandwich, potato salad, baked beans, and chips will be $8.
All right. Thank you. No announcements tonight, so we will move directly to trustee reports, and we will begin with Public Works and Trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Tazewell County Asphalt did the blacktopping on top of Forest Park Drive, and that turned out real nice. The Public Works Department did the white rock and some drainage work, and the City of Peoria will be back to do the final striping on the hill after they get their new truck. I'll tell you about that story later. Oh, that's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you. Any questions at all for Trustee Harn?
For Director Smith, do you have a boil order that's coming out pretty soon, or is that in the past? I thought I heard made mention of that.
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And so,
Okay.
yeah, perhaps I'm reticent not mentioning it, but I figured by the time this hit the airwaves, it would already be over. But for everyone
Yeah.
that's here, we had a pretty bad water main break Friday afternoon at about 3:30, which was perfect timing for homecoming. But we're still kind of screwing around with it. We have all the parts, we know what we need to do, so that's going to be getting fixed tomorrow morning, but we are going to have to shut water off to a few folks down there on Gardner Lane. So there will be a boil order for 24 hours. We're being careful to notice everyone. We're putting up signs. Assuming all goes well, that should be lifted sometime Thursday about lunch.
All right.
That's what's up down there.
Thank you.
You have all this insider information, Mr. Administrator. Any other questions for Trustee Harn? All right, thank you. We'll go to Administration Personnel. Trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have nothing this evening.
All right, thank you. We will move to Economic Development, Village Improvements with Trustee Carter.
Thank you. I have nothing to report.
All right, thank you. Move to the Police Department with Trustee Fuller.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. The only thing I have tonight is that there will be a Neighborhood Watch meeting on Monday, October 26th up here at Village Hall, 6:30 PM.
Thank you, sir. Any questions at all for Trustee Fuller? All right, thank you again. We will now move to building and property maintenance with Trustee Mariscal.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have nothing to report. I do have a question for you, though, sir. I did note that Saturday night was a D meeting on the 22nd?
I couldn't tell you for certain,
Had to be the 15th.
but I think we spoke, whoever was there with the board, we asked if there was any issue with Scioto being closed for the TNTs, I believe, and safety concerns were that there would not be a problem. Was there a problem from your end?
Yeah, I had a couple of constituents give me a call Saturday night and kind of note some different complaints that they had. So I just wanted to clarify.
Did they tell you what kind of complaints they had?
Noise complaints.
And they wrapped up, I think our noise ordinance is till 11 o'clock, Chief?
Correct. They actually wrapped up at 10 o'clock. TNTs and also Lucky's, they were shut down at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I surprisingly didn't hear a word from anybody. I know complaints were filed with both Chief and yourself, but I did not hear anything from anybody, and I do know that crowds were quite good. And if there's too much noise, we can always, I think the police, if I'm not mistaken, did go to one of the places and asked it to be turned down. Am I misunderstanding?
Correct, Mayor. We went to actually both locations. I think the majority of our complaints through the police department came through for the live band at Lucky's. That also came through Peoria PD. But they were getting complaints also that kind of filtered through our department, and we addressed them. Both were shut down at 10. But I think as far as the road closure, I did not receive any of those complaints. Our complaints were 100% noise. So.
Yeah, I think the road being closed on Scioto, the whole point was to make sure it didn't go beyond the alley.
Absolutely.
And that's what the board agreed, that there wouldn't be a problem with it.
Okay. Like I said, I don't recall ever being consulted with that. It might have occurred.
You were either here and don't remember it, or you weren't here. The odds are you weren't here when we discussed it.
Okay.
And like I said, off the top of my head, at my age, I just don't remember what happened yesterday, let alone 2 weeks ago.
I would say that the general perception is that there's probably too many concurrent events running. And I think that probably led to the issues that we had Saturday night. Also, what doesn't sit real well with me is kind of the arbitrary, capricious manner in which you, or we, I suppose, place sanctions on Lucky's. But we didn't, from what I saw, place the same sanctions on TNTs.
What were those?
The fencing and the security. I passed by TNTs and also were barricades, and I personally saw individuals that got pretty close to Prospect that looked intoxicated.
Well, we can always revisit these things. The TNTs thing was a little bit later than the discussions with I think part of the reason with the fencing was because Lucky's is not right on the street.
Excuse me, pardon me, also is that he requested fencing so he could contain the people coming in and charge admission. Have a one point of entry.
Yeah, I was involved with a couple of meetings with Administrator Fick and the police chief, and the fencing wouldn't have been a requirement on our end. That was self-imposed by the owner and proprietor of Lucky's so that he could charge cover for the event.
It was basically to direct the people from Lucky's over to the street event.
Yeah, it was just to keep folks from free-flowing in,
Right.
because they had food and drink specials and that sort of thing. So he wanted to make sure that cover was paid.
Plus, he paid for his own fencing. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure.
Well, I appreciate you clarifying, we did not require that. That
Okay,
was-
like
that
I
was-
said, I'm just,
That was a request from him.
I'm seeking clarification on those issues.
You know, and that's fine, but I think that it's also good sometimes to request information that can be asked of the administrator or myself prior to a meeting. Not that I don't mind discussing it in a meeting, but I think that sometimes that's, might be a little bit out of line.
Well,
So,
you're entitled to your
discussion-
opinion, Mayor.
Yes, I am.
Additionally, sorry to interrupt you, Mayor, I did receive an email as well about the event at TNT's. It wasn't really as scathing as some of the comments that Trustee Mariscal might have gotten from residents. It was a very nice professional email that expressed concerns primarily with the trash that had been left behind after the event, and some suggestions for how the event could be handled going forward that would coexist with the residents on that block of Scioto. And I forwarded that email along to Robbie Matheson, who was the organizer of this event. He appreciated the feedback and said that they would take it to heart and would make any necessary changes moving forward with the event to ensure that the concerns of the residents were being met and they were not being bothered in any way by the event. I can also tell you that Robbie did pass along that it was an incredibly successful event, that TNT's, and I don't have any numbers, but had sales-wise the best day that they've had since opening up here in the Heights, and which generate a lot of sales tax revenue for the village, and we are greatly appreciative for that.
Agreed. And I don't want you to in any way perceive that I'm, wanting to decrease foot traffic within the Heights. Of course, we all want that. I just want to make sure the proper procedures are followed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and just to clarify, it was discussed with the board, you may not have been present, and the fencing was not a capricious demand by the board, by the village, but by a request from Lucky's. So hopefully we clarified that. Any other questions at all for Trustee Mariscal? Okay, we will go to Fire Department, Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything tonight.
All right, thank you. Any comments from the audience?
We had fun. It was a good event.
Well, we appreciate you had it.
Yeah, it was good. We had also had our best night ever. So I think between the two of us, we've generated a good amount of foot traffic. I know we were very thoughtful about questioning people that if they've been to the area, we generate a lot of new fans, not only to Blackies, but also, to the Heights in general. So we got no complaints on what we did. We generated more foot traffic to the Navy Marine Club. They expressed a lot of thanks for that. They were able to get some new members out of that as well. So we just wanted to come here and say it was a good event. Look forward to next year, and not to put bugging anybody's ear, but look forward to that street next year. And I'll make it.
Thank you, Bo.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? All right, thank you all for attending. No old business tonight, so we'll move to new business. And first up will be an authorization for Village Hall repairs not to exceed $6,962. That will be presented by Trustee Mariscal.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a quote here for, let's see, 4 repairs. Primarily, they are repairs to the exterior of the building, hopefully to improve the aesthetic quality. One thing that I did note, however, was that the louver atop the roof was not included in the quote, and I briefly spoke with Administrator Fick about possibly including that. So unless there's any objections, I'd like to make a motion to amend the proposal as presented to include the louver atop the roof and hopefully improve that aesthetic quality of the building. Total, that would equal, let's see, $8320, so it would be authorization for Village Hall repairs not to exceed $8320.
Okay, is everyone clear on that?
So, no, I'm not. Where's that part at?
It would be first page of the quote.
So where's it?
Yeah,
What are we
estimate
talking about?
6310 down at the bottom,
Louver
item
atop
number
the
5.
roof. Do you know where, right in front of the heating and air conditioning system?
Oh,
It's
okay.
been kind of broken down and it's no longer
What's the price for it?
existent.
Because I had
I'll have to look outside.
it wasn't identified as a priority. So Dan asked if we could include it. So if you want to include it, just make a motion at the meeting, do it then.
Okay, so trustee Marisco wants to add, asking the board to approve adding the replaced rooftop, build a cedar louver as originally designed, stained and finished to match building colors, so that would bring the total to $8,320 as outlined. Any questions?
Yeah, if anyone has any objections, please let me know.
Why did we remove it from the original quote in the first place?
From what I gathered, it wasn't deemed as a priority at the time, but I know I did explicitly mention it at the departmental meeting. That's fine, you know.
I'm sure anything of an aesthetic value, if while they're here, we might as well get it done.
Absolutely.
If it's something that's a positive thing.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, Paula will be here. Probably would be the time to get it addressed, unless the board feels
So
differently.
what is the amount then? Is it the 75?
Total amount would be $83.20 rather than the $69.62 that's on your agenda.
So why is it the 83? Wouldn't it just be the original 7,500?
No, there's two different quotes there. One,
Right.
one it
Oh,
was,
we're only taking, we're taking the two bottom from 6311? Is that right? The 720 and the 35?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
It would be on the first page.
Okay, so it's the 75 plus the...
It'd be that $13.58 amount.
Gotcha.
Yep.
any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, once again, this is for board approval the improvements to the front of the building, the amount of $8,320 is outlined by trustee Mariscal. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Mariscal?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Okay, thank you by a vote of 6-0. The board has approved the improvements to the front of the building as outlined by trustee Mariscal in the amount of $8,320. Next order of new business is ordinance 2015-1453, and that will be presented by trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance to put up for sale two fire department vehicles, a 1976 Howe fire engine and a 1995 Marion Rescue Squad vehicle. So I'd make a motion that we approve ordinance 2015-1453.
I have a motion from trustee Reichert,
Second?
second from trustee Cumming. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes?
So just to make sure, he has to approve the price by you, is that correct? The mayor?
The mayor, yes.
Yeah, okay. But, okay, that's good.
And believe me, I'll be depending upon the fire chief
Yeah,
on his guidance as to values and all that. And if anything sounds a little bit too out of hand, and he'll let me know, then we'll discuss it at a departmental. Okay? Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, once again, this is for approval, board approval of ordinance 2015-1453, as outlined by trustee Reichert. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Mariscal?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Trustee Fuller?
aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved ordinance 2015-1453, as outlined by trustee Reichert. Next order of new business tonight is an authorization to donate $600 to the Richwoods Township High School Leadership Academy, and that will be presented by trustee Carter.
Thank you. I don't have anything in my packet, but do you want to come up and talk about it, and then we'll vote on it, and...
Sitting here.
Thank you for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you tonight. There are three things actually in my life that compel me and propel me. One is a very strong sense of mission. Secondly is listening to people and understanding and determining what their needs are. And then thirdly is that when I listen to what people need, to do something about it and bring other people alongside of me to help get that accomplished. The Richwoods Township Peoria Heights High School Leadership Academy is one such project. We're in our second year right now. We have 9 academicians. Actually, we're on our last week this coming Saturday. We're having both coming in being one of our panelists, and we're going to be talking about leadership in business. We're having our banquet at the Center for Prevention of Abuse on October the 26th, and Carol Myrna, the executive director, is going to be our keynote speaker. And the reason why we chose the Center for Prevention of Abuse, it's real easy to look at leadership and say, okay, you know, we're going to take you out of your environment and we're going to have you speak on a panel. But I thought it was very important for these academicians to be involved and to see leadership in action and see impact from the leadership that Carol Myrna is showing at the Center for Prevention of Abuse. So that's just a thumbnail sketch on the Leadership Academy, and I really want to express my appreciation to the village for your partnership. It is like this. There is no way that Richwoods Township could ever begin to accomplish what we're accomplishing if not for the partnerships that we developed, one of which is the village of Peoria Heights. So that $600 is very symbolic to me. It's going to help pay for our banquet, but it's also very symbolic of one of the things that I hold very near and dear, and that is to get things done, I have to bring other people beside me and to work together and to accomplish what needs to be accomplished in Richwoods Township and Peoria Heights. So thank you very much for that donation.
It's not approved yet, Roger.
I'm optimistic.
We want to hear more about this. Any questions at all for Roger? All right. Thanks again. We appreciate all your hard work and dedication.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
On behalf of that, then I make a motion to donate $600 for the Richwoods Township High School Leadership Academy.
Okay, we have a motion from Trustee Carter.
Second.
Second from Trustee Mariscal. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the authorization to donate $600 to the Richwoods Township High School Leadership Academy. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Mariscal?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the donation to the Richwoods Township High School Leadership Academy in the amount of $600. So your optimism paid off once again, Roger. Building bridges. All right, our next order of new business tonight is an authorization of payment to Hare Construction and on the Atlantic Water Main project, and that will be presented by Trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. This is our first payment to Hare Construction, and I make a motion we approve payment for $75,027.11 for the work that's been done to date.
All right, we have a motion from Trustee Harn,
Second.
second from Trustee Reichert. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the authorization of the payment to Hare Construction, amount of $75,027.11 for the work done to date at the Atlantic Water Main project as outlined by Trustee Harn. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Mariscal?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the payment to Hare Construction as outlined by Trustee Harn. Next order of business tonight is the payment of the bills, and those will be read by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
All right, this represents the bills as discussed at the departmental meeting on September 22nd, 2015. The total bills in the village accounts is $339,329.44. Total bills in the waterworks account is $80,787.10.
Okay, are there any questions regarding the bills as read?
I move that we pay the bills as submitted.
Have a motion from trustee Cumming.
Second.
Second from trustee Mariscal. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Mariscal?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the payment of the bills as read. Before I ask the board to go into executive session regarding personnel and pending litigation, I want to advise everyone the next departmental committee meeting will be held Tuesday, October 27th, 6:30 p.m. Next Board of Trustees meeting will be held Tuesday, October 20th, 6:30 p.m. At this time, need a motion from the board to go into executive session.
So moved.
Have a motion from trustee Reichert and a second from trustee Cumming. All those in favor of the board going into executive session at this time regarding personnel and pending litigation, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. Board will now go into executive session. And we thank everyone for attending. We will return for adjournment, but that will be it. And once again, thank you for attending.